Hello and welcome to the Pedders Suspension and Breaks Outer East Football Netball Show, brought to you by Gameface. I'm Aidan Miller, and once again alongside me in the studio, Steph Barkers. Good afternoon, Steph.
Good afternoon, Aidan. Of course, we are both wearing our beanies today because we're about to go into Soccer to MND round. We have a very special guest and plenty to talk about.
We'll bring you all the latest news from across our competition, and this week there is some huge news.
Ones to watch, we highlight some top performers, but this week it's a little bit different because we're highlighting some of the stars from our Interleague Carnival.
Our in-studio guest is Matt Stickland, a former OEFN umpire and the man behind the Hills MND Big Freeze events.
Of course, we have a match of the round preview, and this weekend it is Mumbolk versus Officer and Rock.
And of course, a huge thank you for Pedders Suspension and Breaks for sponsoring the Outer East Football Netball Show for season 2025.
We're making news this week. As we mentioned, it is Soccer to MND round, so we are really looking forward to seeing everyone wear their socks in support and seeing any photos and videos from those who are holding their own DIY Big Freeze events this weekend.
Of course, it is our TAC Club rewards are back for 2025. Your club can apply for awards for up to $10,000 to spend on club initiatives like club transport, new equipment and uniforms or facility upgrades. Applications are now open and will close on Monday the 25th of August 2025. More info at play.afl/Victoria/TAC Club rewards.
And Road Safety Round, which is what it's being called this year, has been confirmed as the 24th to the 27th of July. So that's good because we're waiting on that one from the AFL.
Yep.
Okay, this is the huge news that Aidan mentioned at the start of the show, and we want everyone to get around this because this Sunday at Don Road Sporting Complex in Healesville, the Coates Talent League is making an appearance. They are coming to the Valley. So Eastern Rangers are going to play Geelong Falcons, with the boys playing at 11 a.m. and the girls at 2 p.m. And we don't know who are in the teams just yet, but there is plenty of Outer East football netball talent up for selection, including Hunter Ryan and Archie Spencer from Woorollalek, Briley Anderson and Paisley Stock from Healesville, Kate Smith, who was a former Mumbolk player, and Ebony Tucker from Mount Evelyn. So come down to Healesville, support one of our local Coates Talent League clubs, and additionally, Outer East umpire Sam Price will also be officiating the girls' game. So it's so exciting, and I cannot wait.
Most certainly, plenty of reasons to get down to Don Road.
Over now to the Yarra Valley Water Juniors Corner, and this week we wanted to congratulate our interleague squads who played carnivals across the long weekend, and also thank you to all the parents and coaches, trainers, team managers as well for their support with this program. It was an awesome weekend, and yeah, loved being out there over the weekend and seeing all the up-and-coming talent in our competition.
They certainly had to battle against the weather as well, didn't they, Steph?
They did. There are a couple teams there that got absolutely pelted with rain, but hey, it didn't stop them. They still tried their best. They played games out to the very end. Yeah, it was awesome.
Our Under-10 Junior Football Carnival is this Sunday at Yarra Glen Recreation Reserve and Showground. All our Under-10 sides will play in a round-robin style competition with a chance to showcase their skills. Also, last but not least, congratulations to Wandon Football Netball Club's Mitch Upton, who debuted in the Under-16s Metro team against Vic Country on Monday in Werribee as part of the Under-16 Boys National Development Championships. He was the only Outer East player who was selected, so it's absolutely massive, and congratulations, Mitch. Well done, Moondog. Alrighty, it's time to look at ones to watch, and as I mentioned, it's a little different this week because we're going to take a look at some of the interleague players. There were plenty of incredible performances across the weekend, but I tell you what, these guys definitely stood out to me. I want to start off with Jet Barclay, who was number 9 in our under-14 boys squad. He was the team captain and showed great leadership on field. He's an incredible intercepting defender that uses the ball extremely well out of D50 and has great decision-making skills for how young he is. He won best on ground against SEJ on Monday. Definitely an up-and-comer and one to watch for mine. Another one we're going to look at is Molly Thompson of the Under-14 girls. She won best on for both of her carnival matches across the weekend. She kicked 3 goals on Monday against SEJ in a dominant 93-point win. She has great speed, good burst from the stoppage, aggressive at the ball, and though she played mostly midfield, she also hit the scoreboard. Yeah, Miley was awesome over the long weekend, a definite standout. Last but not least, one last player I want to take a look at was Jaden Lever from the Under-13 boys. He was number 5. He had a very strong performance in all 3 games. So he has silky skills, he's a good ball user and has really high footy IQ for such a young player. He played mostly in the midfield as well, but he drifted forward and scored a goal on Monday. Was a definite standout. So Jaden Lever, another one to watch. Now, we're going to get straight into our match of the round preview today because obviously no tips to review or anything like that with no games on the weekend. So let's get straight into it. Mumbolk versus Officer and Rock.
Season 2025. We're officially halfway through, and after a week off, we're ready to get back into it. Before the break, these two footy sides experienced some heartbreaking results. For Monbulk, it was deja vu. A goal after the siren loss to Mount Evelyn, and for Officer, victory was just seconds away, until a last gasp goal meant they had to split the points. Which side will be able to bounce back from a tough result? In the netball, Rock are fighting to keep their season alive, while Monbulk look to solidify a top 4 spot. Both sides need to win. Who will prevail? It's the Rochford Match of the Round.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the footy. First of all, the last time these two sides played against each other was round 18 of last year. An Officer won that game by 19 points, the final scores being the Kangaroos 11-12, 78 to the Hawks 9-5, 59. Coming into it this year, Monbulk are currently 5th, so they sit inside the top 5 with a 4-4 record, and they're coming off a pretty heartbreaking loss after the siren to Mount Evelyn. Officer are 9th on the ladder with a 2-6 record. They're also coming off a pretty heartbreaking result as well, a draw against Hillsville. They conceded the tying goal with a second left in the game. So both teams really going to want to respond after some disappointing results over the weekend. Taking a look at some of the key matchups through the midfield, first of all, Nathan Allen of Officer, he's averaging 22 disposals this season, 10 of those contested and 5 clearances. And then of Monbulk, Ryan Burley, he's averaging 23 disposals this season at a 70% disposal efficiency, also with 5 clearances. Now, one of the big battles I'm really looking forward is the ruck battle in this game. Cam Evans, firstly for Monbulk, he's second in Premier Division for hit-outs and hit-outs to advantage, averaging 37 hit-outs a game and 9 of those to advantage. He's also averaging 8 clearances a game and 6 score involvements. The one man that he is behind is Jake Gaines of Officer. He's averaging 41 hit-outs this season, 10 of those to advantage. Jake is also averaging, I believe, 5 tackles a game and 10 contested possessions. So the ruck battle going to be really, really crucial in this game. Then for both ends of the grounds, I reckon Josh Wester is going to line up on Joel Wensley, Monbulk's leading goal kicker with 16 goals for the season. And then down the other end, I reckon Robbie Savory has the job on Mark Seedsman, Officer's leading goal scorer with 15 goals for the season. So that's how the footy's going to look. Heading over to the netball, the last time these two sides played, it was also, of course, round 18 of last year. Monbulk won that game quite convincingly, 69-33. It was the final score. Heading into it this season, Monbulk are currently 5th on the ladder with a 4-4 record, and they're coming off a pretty heartbreaking loss after the siren to Mount Evelyn. And Rock this season are currently 9th on the ladder with a 1-6-1 record. That draw coming just a couple of weeks ago against Hillsville. Also pretty heartbreaking, Steph, because they conceded the tying goal with 1 second left on the clock. So both teams have got plenty to respond to after a couple of disappointing results. Last time these two sides played in the netball, Monbulk won pretty convincingly, 69-33. And then heading into it this year, Monbulk are currently 4th on the ladder with a 5-3 record. Rock are 9th with a 2-6 record. Take a look at some of the key matchups. I think through the mid-court, you'll see Liam Ibis of Rock go head-to-head with Nicole McDowell of Monbulk. Ella James probably has the big job on Perry Reid, who is second in goals for Premier Division at this season with 317. And Paige Whitworth probably has the job on Izzy O'Shaughnessy, who's Rock's leading goal scorer with 130 goals.
Yeah, okay. This will be another couple of good games. So let's go to tips now. Who are you going to go with for the footy?
I've got to go Monbulk, I think, with the footy.
Yep, okay. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Monbulk as well. And for the netball?
I think Monbulk as well for the netball.
I will agree with you as well. I think Monbulk for both on the weekend, but we will see.
Yeah, most certainly.
Since 1950, Pedders have understood that every customer's journey is different, but our solution remains the same, to get you where you want to go as safely as possible. We believe it's not just the destination that matters, but also the journey, and we are committed to creating better journeys for everyone.
Okay, well, we have a very special guest in studio this week, someone who's been a part of our community for quite a while and has made such an incredible impact on the Hills community. It's Matt Stickland, the creator of the Hills MND Big Freeze events.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us today in the studio. First, I'd love to congratulate you on all the hard work you've done with the Hills Big Freeze M&D events. Can you tell us a bit about how the event 2 went on the weekend?
It was, thank you very much. It was a wonderful success. And for the second year running, it was way above our expectations. We have about to announce our final total, which is $93,500.
Wow.
Which was a staggering result. And on top of last year's result, that means we've had $206,000 in 2 years.
$206,000 in 2 years.
From the wonderful Hills community.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now, this event is run in Emerald. It involves many people from the OEFN community, with some being sliders or just supporting the event. But you've been a part of our community for quite some time in other ways too, such as being a goal umpire in our competition. Can you tell us a bit about how and why you got involved with umpiring?
It was an interesting situation. I just a footy nut, and like to go and watch local footy, and then I heard the call that they was so short on umpires, and I thought, well, I definitely can't run anymore, so boundary umpiring and field umpiring were out, but maybe I could stand behind the goals and move enough to be able to judge decisions. So I went down to footy training. John Howarth was the coach then, and he welcomed me in. So it was great to be involved.
Yep, fantastic. You yourself were diagnosed with MND 10 years ago. I wanted to ask about your diagnosis, if you're comfortable, of course, talking about it. It must have been quite confronting at first, being told that the average lifespan is in the 24 to 36 month bracket, and given that there's no treatment and cure. What was your experience at the time?
Yeah, so I'm fairly sure that everyone diagnosed with motor neuron diseases can remember the exact hour, date, and where it was, and the impact it has on you. To be told you've got between 2 and 3 years to live, and the way that takes you is it takes you to a place where you start to think about planning your own funeral, and what does it mean for your family when you're the major income earner. So that was really confronting, and the prospect of being in a wheelchair and not being able to speak or feed myself or within 18 months was a devastating prospect. So but we tried to approach it with an attitude of everyone is dealing with something, and this is our curveball in life, and we just need to find a way to deal with it.
Yep. Let's talk about fundraising and how important that is to support research and development towards an effective treatment and hopefully eventually a cure, because as an example, the donations to Fight MND help you be a part of the Lighthouse trial, which was the original drug trial in 2017, and there have been more clinic trials since because of the incredible fundraising that's happened because of Fight MND.
Yeah, so Fight MND is amazing. What Neil Danaher has done to pay it forward to other people. He won't get the benefit from it, but other people do. And since he started the Fight MND cause, they've contributed over $150 million to research and finding a cure. And 600 Australians living with MND have had access to a drug trial. And as you said, I was lucky enough to be a part of the very first trial. And I'm still on that drug today after 8.5 years. And it's definitely slowed down my symptom progression. So I'm very grateful to be involved in that, and the community have done that.
Yep.
Through fundraising and being prepared to buy a bedding.
Yep. That's fantastic. I imagine your personal experience with MND and the support you've had from Fight MND was a big motivator in organising these Hills MND events. But how did it actually come about? I heard you may have attended another DIY event and thought that you may as well give it a go.
Your research is really good. Yes. So we hadn't done one. We hadn't been to any others over the last 10 years before 2 years ago, and Garfield Hotel had theirs on just a day or two before the big one at the G, and I'm into horse racing.
Yeah.
My horse trainer was going down the slide on my behalf.
Yep.
So Sarah and I attended, and it was such a fabulous day. And Sarah turns to me and says, "I think we could do this in Emerald."
Yep.
And then we spoke to the publican down at Garfield, and he gave us some great advice as to trying to make it a community experience, not just a fundraiser.
Yep.
So it's to try and get the community involved and create the awareness. And that's what we did. Sarah probably now regrets it after all the hard work that goes into it.
Yep.
But yeah, to see the fundraising dollars come through the door is awesome.
Yep, Matt, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Now, to go back to the first question, it was $93,000 have been raised so far.
Yes.
Is that still open?
There are still about 30 pairs of socks that
Yep.
we have in our laundry room at home.
Yep.
So if footy teams or netball teams want to purchase some more, we might get to 94,000, but it's about 93.5.
Okay, can we get to six figures, you reckon? Is that possible?
Not unless we have a generous benefit.
Okay. Well, let's try our best. We've got a QR code on the screen, so make sure you scan below and donate what you can. But Matt, thank you so much for joining us, and it's just been such a fantastic story.
Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks for the whole Hills community for getting behind us. And because without them, finding a cure is impossible.
Well, that pretty much wraps up all there is to talk about on the Pedders Suspension and Breaks Outer East Football Netball Show this week. Remember, if there's anything you'd like to see in the show, make sure you leave a comment down below. And don't forget, make sure you get your beanies on this week for our Soccer to MND round. Steph, thank you again for joining me in the studio.
No problems at all.
For all the viewers out there, don't forget to get your game face on.